Welcome back to Sail Up. Today we're talking about winches. The new things that are on the market, what's going on inside winches, and who better to start off with Filippo from Antal.
Nice to meet you guys.
Tell us all about their new product, which is a racing line product, but of course it could be used on any boat that you might want to use. Okay, so could you tell me a little bit about this?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the first one example of the new racing line Antal is introducing in the market. This winch is losing circa half a kilo instead of the previous version.
That's a massive amount. So that's actually, Filippo was just telling me before, this is actually now the lightest winch on the market. So if you're wanting to try and lighten your boat up a little bit, this is the way to go.
On a Class 40 cockpit, with 4 of those winches, you are saving 2 kilos instead of other brands or the other kind of winches. It's a massive improvement. At the push of this bottom, you will engage the direct gear that allows you to do really fast recovery of sheets. For example, jibing with a huge Gennaker or A0 or things like that.
So this is, when you say, it's like a boost gear, it's like a third gear, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got your normal winch going one way.
Yeah, then just acting on the winch, just, reversing the turning, you will disengage it and come back to the normal functionality with the 2 gears.
Okay. And so how do we service this winch? What do we need?
Pretty easy. You just need one of our key that comes with every kind of our winches, okay? With be a insert here, you unscrew this cap and all the drum will come out just with one hand. For sure, you no need to open it for sure for the first 3 years of usage.
Yeah.
We recommend just to wash it a lot to avoid that soles, makes big amount of dirtiness inside. But apart of that, you don't need to interact with roller bearings or changing gear. Yeah. We don't have this kind of wear in the inside of our winches.
That's like a cruiser's dream. So what are the bearings made from?
It's a solid steel.
Solid steel bearings.
And made inside our factory with special attention and precision. We are specialized in ocean racers that stays at the sea for maybe months, racing and pushing the boat at the limit. We cannot pretend that in the middle of a races they have to dismantle a winch to do a maintenance. It's not possible, no?
One other thing I would like to point out is this straightforward, simple winch handle.
Yeah, I love it.
With a really simple rotation system going on, which is nice, yellow, and easy to see. Quite cool, and it's actually really light as well, I must say. Quite nice, and a nice rubber handle. Filippo, thanks very much.
Thanks to you, it was a pleasure, really.
Thank you.
Hope to see you in the sea.
Okay, so next up we've got the Harken winches, and we've got Carl here who's going to tell us a little bit about their radial winch, which is probably the winch you find on most of your sort of production boats or high-end production boats.
Sure.
So, what have we got going on with this bad boy?
Yeah, so the radial winch is absolutely our flagship product, and we produce this winch in all sizes from size 20 all the way up to size 80. And you'll find this on, many of the production boat builders are installing this at the factory now. It's got some great features. We use Delrin bearings.
That's different to a lot of people on the market.
It is, that's right, yeah. So they don't need lubrication. A lot of people think, a bearing needs to have lubrication, and that's quite correct if it's steel, but not Delrin at all, which makes it actually easier to service.
And Delrin itself, being Delrin, it won't swell, so it's good for the job.
That's correct.
And you've got this nice sort of not knurling, it's like a machined away part, and I presume that's to help grab the rope a little bit.
Correct, yeah. So these winches are probably used with ropes that are not quite as aggressive as some of the technical ropes. As a result, this scalloping in the drum allows the rope to actually sit into it as the tension comes on. But the surface doesn't start to abrade or do damage to the rope itself, whereas the raceboat type winches, which have a different finish, would probably start doing damage to your ropes quite quickly.
Carl was telling me these are good for braid on braid and your traditional cruising kind of ropes.
Sure.
And your performance line, they have a different finish basically, which is for a more high quality,
more technical rope.
Technical rope, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, and servicing wise, how do we service these?
So it's very simple. There is one screw in the center. We remove that screw and then the whole drum lifts away. It's very simple. You don't need specialist tools and you don't need specialist training either to do it.
Okay, and the other thing I must ask is, can you adjust the feeder arm on a castellation all the way around?
Correct, you can,
Easy, nice and easy.
Very easy, yeah.
So there we go. That's Harken's offering at the moment, and let's say that I think seems like a pretty good thing to me. I like the Delrin bearings myself. I think that's a really good idea.
Sure.
All right. Carl, thanks very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Cheers, mate. Next up on the winches front, we've got Lewmar, now part of the Lippert group. These guys are well known for their simple winches, easily come apart, completely toolless. So basically with these guys, nothing new coming from the brand this year for winches, but what they are doing is standing by their product. And they're offering for 2024 a lifetime warranty on everything on the winches. So obviously the serviceable items such as the poles, they're not part of that, but literally everything else is lifetime warranty. So that's definitely something to bear in mind if you're looking at putting winches on your boat. Good old trusty things. Okay, so next up we're with Seldén, and this is Rich from Seldén, the man, the legend, missed sailing as well. No, man, he's certainly not shy behind the camera. This guy's going to tell us a little bit about the new winch from Seldén. So we have a look at this. I mean, you guys are well known for your masts and the likes. So someone who doesn't know much about winches, it's just a winch. Tell us.
Okay, so this is a winch. No, we've messed around and dabbled. We've come up with some super cool creations in the winch market over the years. We stepped away for a little while and we've come back with this. We've chosen to go down this ribbed pattern around here for the extra holding, so like a number of other manufacturers.
That's true. So the rib pattern, I think what's cool about the rib pattern is you've got like less surface area, so when you pull it around quickly, it doesn't grab and bind, but then when you put more pressure on it, those points are quite isolated, so you actually get effectively more friction so it doesn't slip, right?
Yeah, so effectively where you would normally have maybe 3 turns on, and we're getting away with 2 turns rather than having 3.
In a boat where you're racing with 2 turns, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's going well.
Quick as well.
But what we've done is a number of other manufacturers, like I say, that look like these. But what we're doing is we're doing something different. Other manufacturers have these equal, all the way along, equal spacing. Yeah. And we're calling this art because we like to give things cool names. So this is art, okay? Art stands for asymmetric rib technology.
It all makes sense.
Okay, so
it's a good thing you don't put the word fast in front of it.
No, I wanted to call it smart, Seldén mast, asymmetric rib technology. I got vetoed. Anyway, what we've done is we've broken these up. You see here, we have a very big spacing, a smaller and a smaller. We did it, tested some other manufacturers. Actually, our previous range of winches, when you're trimming a spinnaker when you're racing, you were trying to ease it out, and because you had such good holding because of the ribs.
When you get that huge load on it.
And then it was going clunk, 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 and it's quite disconcerting as a kite trimmer. So by distancing these out, spacing them unevenly, we've made that a much smoother release.
The other thing with these ribs is because it's not like it's quite smooth and it relies on sort of point loading the rope, you actually don't get wear on the ropes. They tend to, like, this sort of thing makes your ropes last a lot longer. Yeah. So for the cruiser, that's important. But there's a little trick up the sleeve with this thing, and I think it's really, really cool. So you can literally wrap it round, or put 2 wraps on, like you said, through the self-tailor, but then get this. We can load that winch right up without needing the winch handle. So normally that would jam, wouldn't it? You wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. The way we normally do things when we're racing, or even when we're short tacking cruising, we put 2 turns on the winch, we whale it in, and then we put the 3rd one on, and then we put in the self-tailor, and then the handle goes in.
This is so much better for the cruiser. Another thing just to finish off with these winches are that they're, again, I think becoming par for the course. It's a toolless maintenance, and it's very simple and easy to pull apart. So that's pretty much the new Seldén winch.
The other addition to the range is this, actually. We've got this is what we're calling the grip handle. Some other manufacturers you would push in on the top. This one here we just grip.
That's quite nice if you got cold hands.
Yeah.
Can I just have a quick look at that? So rather than having D10 pins in there, this is actually a rotational system, so you haven't got something which is going to be affected by corrosion, which I think is really important. Right. I think that's enough. Okay, Rich, thanks so much.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate that. Oh, check out Seldén Mist as well. Okay, last one we've got on show today is the Ronstan winch. This thing is absolutely classic. It's just won an award for being that. Basically a sister company now of Anderson, who are well known for it, but this is way more innovative, and that's why we're talking about this. I was going to tell us a little bit about it. Okay, I'll pass you a fancy winch handle over.
Thank you. So the winch works in a similar way to a 2-speed self-tailing winch, where it differs from when you want to ease the rope rather than taking it out of the jaws to ease. We've got the quick trim where we can ease the rope straight out of the winch without having to take the rope out of the self-tailing arm or the handle out of the winch. There's some other neat features when it comes to servicing.
Yep.
So,
The servicing on this is quite neat. I've actually done one of these before.
yeah.
Crack on.
So you pop the top off. You've got access to all the bearings on the inside, so thrust bearings for the vertical load and Delrin rollers for the other load.
So they're similar to the Harken idea, but these are beautiful. They're completely encapsulated. Can't drop them in the sea. Well, you can, but you'd be pretty foolish to drop that in the sea.
The gears are straight from an Anderson winch, so they're very well proven, forged aluminium bronze gears.
And again, 4 poles on there as well.
Yep.
Very nice.
And,
It's cool. And that's that. And this thing weighs nothing. It's quite impressive. It's got the same rib technology that Anderson are known for on these. And I think the other thing I find quite interesting as well, that a few people have now sort of taken up on that as well, as you've seen earlier in this video. But there you go. So, how do we put that
How do we
together?
put? You can put this back together.
No, you can. On top of the rope feeder here, we've got a lovely sprung connection, so no need for any tools. Quite cool. All in all, it's quite good. This it does parts of it feel a little flimsy, but when it's all together, it's kind of all one.
It's one.
All in all, another fantastic piece of kit from the guys at Ronstan, always innovating things and moving things on quite a little bit. So there you go, that's what we've got happening in the winch world at the moment. I hope you enjoyed that, and please do like and subscribe, follow the channel. It helps us take along nicely and helps us get to shows to bring this content to you guys. We'll see you next time. See you later. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.